What's up, fish tank people? Dustin's Fish Tanks and the birds bringing it to you with how to grow aquarium plants fast. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's episode, we've got 5 different types of aquarium plants. We're gonna show how they are grown in most nurseries, both above water growth, and we're going to show you below water growth. And I've also got a 6th non-aquatic plant that you can use to suck the heck out of nitrates in your aquarium. Here we go. First, I do want to give some credit where some credit is due. What I'm going to discuss today has to do with plants growing above water and below water. I first got word of this and read about it in Diana Wallstead's wonderful book, The Ecology of the Planet Aquarium. She obviously talks about dirt immensely in here, but she also talks about how plants grow differently when they are able to grow above water versus below. So shout out to Diana Wallstead for first bringing this topic at hand. Here comes the Dustin version with 5 examples. You see, folks, those of you who are not familiar with ridiculous amounts of aquarium plants may not fully understand what you are getting into with certain species, certain looks, and that sort of thing. So in today's video, I'm gonna hit you with 5 different types of species and show you some examples of above water growth versus below water growth, what to look for in a couple of different varieties of species so you can know what you're getting into when you think something looks sexy, but it might not be. To the greenhouse. First things first, we're talking about the sword. Speaking of swords, there's my liquid sword right there. What's up, brother?
What's up?
Josh might know more about the conversion process. He does know more about the conversion process between Amazon swords, between above water growth and below water growth. That doesn't mean I can't teach you a little something while Josh is around here.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, I don't know what I'm talking about here. So folks, Amazon swords are an easy one, are a fun one, are a great one to give you a clear example of what you want versus what you don't want when it comes to above water and below water growth. I have in my possession here a ridiculous amount of swords, and I want to show you right here. First things first,
Just over there.
just right here, yeah, just these 2. Never mind everything all throughout this wonderful greenhouse. These, folks, are Amazon swords. These are beautiful elbows, and this is a great shot because this is what you see, and you're seeing this in your shop, and you're like, you know, I gotta get this plant. I like it. It's got these big green growth on top here. It's long, it's skinny, just like D. And you know what? This is actually not what you want. I got another example right here. This would actually be more along the lines of what you'd be looking for, but let me break this down for you. With Amazon swords, they are one of those plants that just has to convert to underwater growth. It will not grow underwater like this with these spoon-like leaves. You'll notice the spoon leaves right here. No bueno. These are actually not gonna grow that well underwater at all, and they'll probably slowly but surely deteriorate back, a la this one. Now, with Amazon swords, if you can feed them heavy at the roots where they eat, you will be better served. See how the decay on this, but look here. This is all you got to know about. Look at that center growth right there. Let me put it down here so you can see it well. This little growth right here is all we are looking for. So all this Amazon, so all this stuff up here, you just got to cut it right here, cut it right here, and get rid of it. Now, I've got this sword. These are, I think, a pointy sword or an Amazonicus. This is converting. So what we do, my man Josh plants them up real nice. This right here, folks, is a marble queen sword. Now this plant right here has, this plant converts easier than the other ones. So I'm loving this marble queen sword. This has already started to get this underwater growth right here. It's got these little growth right here, and this little growth right here, and then these ones up here are not looking too bad. Now when they start to wither away or whatever, you kind of peel them off, but this is ready to roll. These are your regular Amazon swords. I want to point something out too. Generally speaking, with this type of sword, with the marble queen sword, different from the red varieties, I found that sword varieties that are either like a pointy or like a variegated with this kind of lighter color convert better and are just faster growing plants than the ones with the red on them. I'm open to opinions on that from my man Josh. He's shaking his head yes, so we're good. But yeah, I wanted to show the difference on that. Alright, so there's the plants that I sell and there's the plants that I play with. Here are some of the plants that I play with. This, folks, is Echinodorus Tenellus that I planted around Christmas time, Zen time, and I'm absolutely loving this plant growing underwater. But I want to show you all, I got a little glare on there, I want to show you all the difference, there you go, the difference between this plant, which has been grown underwater, nice little thing, kind of like a dwarf sag. Echinodorus Tenellus, not quite as hard as a dwarf sag, but close. Growing underwater, gets a very, very thinner leaf, actually a little thinner than the dwarf sag right here. But let me show you the difference between this and above water growth. Check this out. This is one of my favorite skank tanks. This is a 40 breeder with a 400 watt metal halide on it and an aqua clear, and it just runs. But this is where we got in a bunch of these Echinodorus Tenellus plugs. Now check this out. This is the difference. This is a plug that we got in. Oh, as I drop it here. This is a plug of Echinodorus Tenellus. Now you can see it's got some of this above growth right here that it's already decaying and smashing down. This has actually been underwater with us for a little over a week today actually, and it's already started the conversion. Look closer here, you've got the new growth here. But here's an example of this plant after just actually this is 2 months in, so I'm going to show this right here. This is 2 months in. That is fully underwater growth right there, an Echinodorus Tenellus. Absolutely loving it. That's actually being grown in Fluval stratum, and it's really, really taken off, really nice and thick. And then I've actually got a little hitchhiker crypt or something in there with it. But that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying underwater growth. Looks a lot like dwarf sag. It's actually Echinodorus Tenellus. The difference, you seeing the difference in this right here versus, say, a plant like this right here. The conversion process has already started. That's the future, that's the present. And here, my friends, is another example, wonderful example of above water versus below water growth. I want to show you Rotala Rotundifolia in the mix. There's some nerdy debates between Rotala Rotundifolia and Rotala indica, and I'm not going to get into that with you all today. This was sold to me as Rotala Rotundifolia. Please note the clip where I show this plant underwater with the more narrow leaves. Narrow leaves, easier to deal with, but then down here, look at these leaves, folks. This is how this plant looks when it grows above water. A lot of the United States domestic wholesalers will grow it above water, and it'll have these round leaves, rotund, round, and then up here you go up the leaf a little bit more, you see it's got the narrower leaves when it's grown underwater. So there's a big difference there. So if you see Rotala like this, note all this is going to fall off. And I will advise you too, this is something we deal with too, is decaying plant matter. Like, that's going to foul up your tank too. So you want to get that removed once the plant has started to convert underwater. Get rid of the above water growth because it's just going to decay. Do yourself the favor and get rid of it. But there's a prime example of Rotala Rotundifolia, the round right here. There's the bottom half, and there's the top grown below the water. And here's an example of what we get from domestic suppliers, grown way, way, way the heck above water. I hate selling it when it's like this. Obviously we're selling the red stuff now, but yeah, way Rotala grown way above water. Like, you might even see some flowers on here. Clearly not converting. An example of Rotala grown entirely above water and then hacked versus the other stuff I just showed you. Night and day. All right, folks. This next plant I'm going to take a little bit of a tangent on because it's an insane species. So I'm going to show you two different types of Hygrophila. The water Wisteria, Hygrophila deformis. The second species is a cherry type of Hygrophila. First things first, let's show you the sexy. All right. We're above this tank, and you're like, Dusty, what's up with your ghetto tank? Yeah, we lined a 40 breeder, by the way, with plastic liner because it was leaking. Problem solved. This, folks, if I could just have your attention for a second, is a cherry type of Hygrophila. And I'm super duper jacked about it because it's giving me new growth in a 40 breeder underneath an LED on the floor of my greenhouse. So I'm absolutely, totally stoked about this. But there are lessons in this plant as well as the Hygrophila deformis. You'll notice all this down here, this stuff dying off down here, that's the above water growth. This is converting to underwater growth, and I am extremely excited about this one. But this is a more rare plant. It's not on my site. Don't leave this video to go look for it. I'll let you know when it's up. But this is a cherry red Hygrophila. Let's look over here at Hygrophila deformis. This is water Wisteria plain Jane, one of the fastest growing plants that I sell, with above water growth, well on its way to converting. Let me pull it out and show you what we're dealing with here. This plant right here, one of my best-selling water Wisteria, Hygrophila deformis. All you beginners in the place with style and grace, this is you right here. Now look, this plant, when grown above water, has leaves that look just exactly like this. Now, when you see these leaves, don't worry, this is one of the fastest converting plants, by the way. But when you see this start to kind of get this ruffly effect or whatever, then you know you're in the money zone. So this is Hygrophila deformis, also known as water Wisteria, grown above water and then sunk below water and converting, folks, easily converting in a 40 breeder on the floor of my greenhouse for now because I'm out of space. But check out the difference in that leaves there though. You got the leaf right here, that's right there, and then you got this leaf right here. All this new root growth all day long. When you see the good root growth, you're golden, golden, golden. I got a bonus Hygrophila for you too. I do want to show this. This is some of the stuff we deal with because we're converting some of this Hygrophila up here. Notice all this decaying plant matter falling off. Let me show you this. So this is the Hygrophila cherry leaf that I was so overly excited about, which is converted to underwater growth and is just about it and ain't living without it. But then this is the exact same plant right here going through the conversion process, all right? So it's lost some of its lower leaves. It's not doing as hot. It will be fine because it's a Hygrophila, but you can see what some of the stuff we're dealing with here with some of the decaying plant matter that comes off. That leaf falls off. This falls off up here. That's done. But it'll convert into a sexy plant like this though. And then this is just a guest cameo by Hygrophila cordata red, because it's just an awesome plant and it's fully converted underwater growth. Will not give you any problems at all. And don't ask me how this variety became so hardy, even though it's got the red color, but it did. But Hygrophila cordata red, just not having to worry about it converted because it's fully converted and amazing. Folks, I gotta tell you, I've showed you Wisteria, I've showed you Rotala, I've showed you Amazon swords. But this, my friends, is one of my favorite plants of all times. This is Dwarf Sag. Dwarf Sag. Now, and today I want to show you this Dwarf Sag that was grown above water. As you can clearly see right here, this has been grown above water all day long, above water growth. This is Saggitaria subulata melting back. It happens, it's part of it. Let me show you the converted version. This is Sag grown fully underwater, looking good, looking great. But folks, I want to show you its sexy cousin and how crazy that is. This is Saggitaria Teres. Now notice, this is a bigger variety of Saggitaria. Look at these. Big spoon leaves, clearly grown above water. But look down here. When you see the underwater growth, you're golden. Underwater growth on Sag, both subulata, chilensis, and this Teres. Underwater gets the more pointy, non-spoon looking leaves like this. And I got to show you this plant, folks, because this plant, underneath the right light and the right nutrients, gets purple. Check it out. This is that Sag that I've been hitting heavy with the fertilizers, growing purplish colored leaves at its base. You can see the purple tint on there. How sick is that? Yes, folks, a purple variety of Sag. I'm totally loving it. I need to actually give this plant more nutrients, but a purple variety of Sag. Now note, look at this one. Grown fully underwater, no spoon leaves. It's got the finger leaves, not the spoon leaves. Sag Teres. Love it. Underwater growth with purple. But folks, I want to show you all a plant that's made to grow above water and will absorb the heck out of your nitrates. You've probably heard it before, but I doubt you've seen a gigantic example of it like I'm about to show you here. I want to talk about the pothos plant right here. Check this sucker out. Look at this. I'm intentionally showing you this because it's just kind of gone wild here in the greenhouse. This tank, this right here, is sitting next to a 20 long and over a 125 right here. And this plant has just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown and taken off. And then it comes down into the water here and drinks and then just keeps on going. We never water it. It found water on its own. Like, it's just an epic plant right here. I love this plant. I've got a couple varieties of it. I've got a variegated variety and I've got another marbled variety, but this plant is absolutely ridiculous. I recommend folks get the pothos, grow it out the top of your tank. It will absorb the extra nutrients, excess nitrogen in your tank, helping everything along. But wait a minute, Dustin, why are you showing us the difference between all these plants growing above water and below water, and how am I going to grow plants faster? Well, the answer is simple. In a natural state, plants are going to generally prefer to grow up above the water line. They're going to grow emerging from the water and grow where there's more readily available carbon dioxide because they're out of the water, breathing all the readily available CO2, which is less available in the water. There's also more readily available nitrogen and other gases as well. And there's more readily available sunlight. They don't have to wait on the sunlight to go through the water. So that is why plants choose to grow above the water line. That's why farmers and aquatic gardeners all over the world grow plants generally above the water, and then we get them and we have to sink them in our aquarium. That's why we are sinking our plants that we sell alone down under the water to convert them better to go into your tank where you don't have full sun. You probably do not have as much readily available CO2 as, I don't know, the atmosphere. So do me a favor, folks, drop me a comment on what you think about this video. Drop me a comment on some plants that look way different above water than below. Hit that notifications button and that subscribe button, and we will talk to you mañana and tank on. Later.